Theo, some of the more interesting rulings that you've had to give over the years.
Yes. This happened in one golf course in the Firestone in Akron, Ohio. I've done the tournament a couple of times, maybe 12 years. And then one day I was called for a ruling on the third hole, driving distance. But as I get to driving distance, people are standing in the middle of the fairway. So I'm thinking, what could be the problem here? It can only be a sprinkler head, and you know. So I got there, and Thomas Levy and myself, we know each other. We really talk like friends whenever we see each other. I remember, just to divert a little bit there, one day he said to me, Theo, why are you driving on the fairway? Why aren't you driving in the rough? I said, oh, no, we were told that we must drive on the fairway and leave the rough for you guys. He says, yeah, who said that? I said, no, because the rough was really thick there, driving in the rough will flatten it a bit. So, yeah, anyhow, I get there and I said, can I help you? He says, yeah. There was no preferred lies. See, this is the problem. The Thursday and Friday, we had preferred lies because prior to that, we had some rain. So we allowed preferred lies, but every day the golf course was improving, getting the sun, and now with a Saturday, complete no more preferred lies. So I said, can I help you? He says, yeah. I call this rule an amnesia rule. That's what I named it. Because I said to him, he says to me, now look, I have a peg in my hand. I've hit my drive about 250, 260. Why have I still got a peg in my hand? Now, I think I've placed my ball, but I'm not sure. I don't remember placing it, but the biggest problem is this peg that I got in my hand. So I said to him, well, Thomas, maybe there was some dirt in the grooves of your club that you were going to use. Maybe. He says, no. My caddy cleans the clubs and he does a great job. I said, so did you talk to your caddy whether you placed the ball or not? He says, my caddy says he can't remember. So I said, what about Jim Furyk? Jim Furyk was way on the right-hand side. He couldn't see what was happening here. So now the question is, did he place the ball or not? So I said, well, okay, I have to do something now. I went over to the crowd and I said, ladies and gentlemen, I need help. And I don't want to put words into your mouth, but did Thomas do something that you think he shouldn't be doing? Did you see anything wrong that he did? Two guys says, yeah, definitely, he plays the ball. So now I go back to him, I said, well, Thomas, I believe you did place the ball. So now he's got to replace this ball back on his original position. And he doesn't know where it was. So I said to him, I said, right, preferred lies is within a club length. So what we would do is, right in the middle, here's your golf ball, and we put a golf club on the ground and put the golf ball in the middle of it. So that's within a club length because the fairways are so great that you can't really move a club length, because now the rule says if you can't determine the area, then you have to drop the ball. So I said, now all what we would do is you put pegs on the corner of the clubs and pick up this ball and drop it wherever you want to drop it. And then he dropped it, and I said, that's it, and that's one shot penalty.
That's amazing.
For lifting the ball that's in play. Completely couldn't remember whether he placed the ball or not.
Amazing.
Then,
any others?
Yes. Mark KU. You know Mark?
Yes.
Mark KU qualified to go and play Akron, Ohio. And who he gets paired with?
Tiger Woods.
He gets paired with Tiger Woods. They get on the 7th hole. I see them, looking, Tiger is quite tall. And he says, oh, there's Theo there. Theo, we need your help here. I walk over there because every hole is crowded. So I had to go through the crowd to get on the green. And I said, yeah, what's the problem? Can I help you, gentlemen? They said, yeah. Mark KU teed up with a practice ball. A practice ball. So they asked me a question and said, now, okay, can he play with a practice ball? I said, well, first of all, the ruling here is that the name practice stands for nothing. That's fine. What we got to determine is that, is he playing same make of a ball and same compression? Because now, and he was, that practice ball was a Titleist, 90 compression. And those were the balls that Mark KU was using. He was using a Titleist ball and 90 compression. So there was no problem. I said, there's no penalty, there's no replay of a shot. The ball is in play.
Amazing.
So after play, I went to Mark and I said, Mark, you know, when we met here, I told you, I said, Mark, do you know why I'm here at Akron, Ohio? You said, no. I said, I'm here to look after all the players, especially you, the South Africans. Anything that you don't understand, you come to me. I will, if I don't know, I'll go and find out. I said, what the hell are you doing with a practice ball in your bag? I mean, you want 6 dozen, you want 12 dozen of golf balls, they're going to give it to you. What's a practice ball doing in your bag? And I couldn't get an answer. Probably said, well, maybe my carry put it in there by mistake.
Now, Theo, you said something there that struck a chord with me. You said Tiger called you over by name.
Oh, yes.
Tiger called Theo, come across here.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Tiger, Phil Mickelson, Ernie Els, obviously, but Jim Furyk, the top players of the world, now all know you.
Oh, well, you know what's the funniest part of this? Yes, they all know me, and I'm proud of that. You know, sometimes, even if I'm just walking, and he's seeing me from my back, you hear, hey, Theo, how you doing, my man? You know, so, but here's a little story here. It's, I have a photo with Tiger Woods and my wife in America with a black tie. And a gentleman buys a house next to me, and he's a colored gentleman. And one day now he comes over to come and introduce himself, and he says to me, I'm Andre, and I said, I'm Theo. He says, yeah, well, I bought the house next door. I said, oh, beautiful. Now, this is one of the people who are not shy. He's talking to me, but he's busy walking around in the lounge, my lounge there. And he's looking at these photos. There's a photo where I'm with Mr. Mandela. There's a photo where I'm with George Bush Sr. And then I'm with Gary Player. Then he looks and he sees me with Tiger and my wife, and he says, this is Tiger. I said, yes. He said, who are you? I said, I just told you I'm Theo. He says, no, I know that, but who are you? You know? He says to me, I never knew that you and Tiger are friends. Do me a favor, the biggest favor of my life. The day he comes here again, please call me.
Yeah. Of all the tournaments that you've been and worked at overseas, the majors, the President's Cup, the Ryder Cup, which is your favorite of all those big tournaments?
Well, to be honest with you, it's two. And as a rules official, there's a difference. You know, it's the Masters. Everybody loves the Masters. And I think the reason, Dale, is that the Masters is playing in one golf course. It's their golf course. When we finish on Sunday, on Monday they can start preparing for the following year. And that's why it makes it so different. You know, and they've got 1,000 volunteers. You will never find a butt of cigarette on the golf course. Nothing. There's people cleaning up during the tournament and everything. And obviously they brag about being the best clean golf course in the world. And it is beautiful. I mean, I don't remember once seeing an area that's marked ground under repair. None. There's no ground under repair. If a player will think probably this would have been an abnormal ground condition, you'll call a rules official. But you'll never see a paint marked ground under repair. Then obviously I had not met Rory Sabatini, and I get called for a ruling on number 15, driving distance. Now the caddy has got to the ball before the player. I got my name tag. It says Theo Manyama. I get there, this caddy looks at me. He says, we're waiting for the player, which is Rory Sabatini, coming up. And this caddy says to me, Theo Manyama. I said, yeah. He says, are you a Japanese? you know, because you get Maruyama, you know, and now he sees Manyama, he says, are you a Japanese? I said, yes. I'm a black Japanese from South Africa. So anyhow, Rory Sabatini gets there, his ball is landed on top of a plastic bag. Now, next to it here, there's a gash, you know, where the machine ran over, took out the grass and whatever. And so Sabatini says, yeah, so I get to place this ball, I mark it, leave the ball, leave the plastic and place it back there. I said, no. You have to drop the ball. And I'm worried that he might drop it into that little gash there and he's not going to get relief for it. But I said to him, no, you drop the ball. He says, why should I drop it? Because I know exactly where it was. I said, no, that's not how the rule works. Your ball was not on the ground level. It has come to rest on this bag. So if this bag was not there, you don't know where this ball would have ended up. So you mark the position of the ball, leave the plastic, and then drop the ball. So he dropped the ball, and luckily he did not get into that gash, because that was my concern.
One last question. You're obviously very proud of your son, that he's following in his dad's footsteps. But in a few months' time, you're celebrating your 50th wedding anniversary. Traveling, playing golf, now traveling, giving rulings around the world. How have you managed to keep your home life so stable?
Well, yeah, it's a good question. You know, everything about what I've been saying here, there's one person that I just forgot to mention him, or maybe the point didn't come, Mr. Johan Rupert. Mr. Johan Rupert has a lot to do with my life. He's taken care of me where golf is concerned. He's made sure that I'm being looked after, or he has looked after me. And I, you know, believe it or not, my wife, she's done 7 British Opens. She's done 6 Players Championship in Jacksonville. You know, those were her favorite tournaments abroad. And I made sure I'm taking her with, you know. So one time, you know, there are times when I tell her, I say, you know what, you have achieved something that people with millionaires haven't done, you know. And I said, to go out to the British Open seven times, and a Players Championship, President's Cup. Like I said, I've got a photo with Tiger in her. Yeah. It was in America, you know. And I've taken her to some places. So she understood. And here at home in South Africa, the only tournament she did every single year is the Nedbank Challenge, when it was called the $1 Million. Every year she was with me out there because that's a very nice tournament, enjoyable, you know, you really enjoy yourself out there, functions and everything. So I've taken her there. Now the rest of the others here, she's never been with me because I have to work. I have to work to come and put bread on the table, you know. She you know, so she.
But you're working at something you love, eh?
Oh yes. I never complain. We complain because we're human beings. Like, you know, if the big field of 156 players, we'll start them at 6:30. Now, if the first tee of time is 6:30, the staff has got to be there at 5:30. The tournament director and the rules officials must get out and check the course, that the greenkeeping staff has done the proper thing, the pin position, that the hole has been put where you put at your dot, that they must make the new hole. So we got 1 hour to check all that. Now, if you got to be there at 5:30, you had to wake up at 4 or 4:30, you know. So that becomes a talk. But the job itself, it's something I love. I love doing that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, Gary Player might have won the Grand Slam of golf, but Theo Manyama's wife has also achieved the Grand Slam of golf. Theo Manyama, he's a rules official extraordinaire. He has given rulings at all the major championships around the world, including the Ryder Cup and also the President's Cup. And from a South African point of view, he's been put into our Hall of Fame for golf, and he has made golf a better game.